What's going on, my crew? This is Jay. Welcome to another episode of Jay's Adventures. And in today's episode, we're going to be working on a little something, but let me tell you a little bit about this area. I forgot to mention last episode that how sacrifices work, and this is true of historical real life, not real life now, but historical real life. So traditionally, you would take your cow, which I know these are cows, but we're gonna say some of them are bulls. You would bring them over to the altar, you'd slit their throat or cut them up or whatever, and then the meat you would cook in a furnace. So we actually forgot to build some furnaces, but let me finish this. So you would cook it in a furnace, and then your family would have a feast off of that bull that you sacrificed, and then of course you would the rest of the meat would go to the priests, and they would enjoy it. And what else was? Oh, they would take the innards and look for spots and wrinkles and things like that. And if your bull or whatever you sacrifice, some people sacrificed goats and stuff like that. If it had a wrinkle or a spot in the inside parts, then the sacrifice would be considered rejected by the gods. There was other things that people did. They used to take animal bones and throw them into furnaces, and if the bones cracked, they'd read the cracks and tell you your future based on those cracks, the way it cracked. So a lot of little interesting things that we can learn. But yeah, so just noticing this is a little square for me, so I'm gonna pull that down like that, and that way it looks a little better. Okay, so in this episode, obviously with what the gods said, they need to equip their people, and one of the things I wanted to do was to help equip them. I wanted to make a forge. Now originally I was thinking about making a barracks, but as I was considering things, I was realizing that barracks are for standing armies, and standing armies at this point don't exist. In the real world, standing armies didn't exist until probably... Why am I lagging? Hold on, guys. Okay, that was weird. Standing armies didn't exist until like later on in ancient history. I think it was Sparta that had the first standing army, if I remember my history correctly. They basically trained people so well and were so afraid of being of rebellions and takeovers and stuff that they just like were freaked out all the time, and were like, okay, we need to make sure that we have people all the time everywhere that are able to fight. So it was very important for them to be able to keep a standing army. So what I want to represent here with this is I want to represent almost a holy building, because this is something that's very important to them that needs to be done, these forges. So what we're gonna do here is I'm thinking about how we're gonna do this. Obviously we need some lava, so I'm gonna dig sort of a lava pit here. I'm gonna make some iron bars, of course, but I'm trying to think about how I want to do this. Well, let's get the iron bars first, and then we'll talk the rest of it. So yeah, this place is going to be sort of a holy building. Now, it's not obviously going to have priests in it doing anything, although, you know, that is a good idea. Maybe just a suggestion idea, the priests bless every single one of the weapons before they come out of the... You would go in the lava pit. Okay, now we do have human sacrifice. Maybe the priests bless the these swords before they come out. Maybe that's one thing that they do. so that they know that it's a holy piece of work. So I want to be able to have them have access to this, obviously, but I don't want these villagers jumping in. Maybe we'll have it double up. Maybe there's a lot of lava in there. That might be the best way to do this. We might need some more buckets. Let me see how many buckets we have, because I don't want to spend too much time coming back and forth. But we only need 4. So if we can get even just 3 buckets, we'll be done the next time. So this is sort of what I'm going with here. Uh-oh. Oh. So you can climb up here. Get off. Well, if they can have... Ooh, you know what we can do? Let's cover this up. Right? Just like this. And then we can open this up because then they won't get hurt. And that way... Yeah, this is perfect. Okay. So that's the forge. And come up here. Can we place this block? No, because you're in the way. Get out of the way! You stupid guy. Okay. There we go. So it's kind of a sub whatever area. And then this is my idea that I thought would be pretty cool to kind of work with. Is let's get some stairs. Okay. And this isn't going to be able to be practical, unfortunately, but at least it'll look cool. And then some of you probably already know what I'm going to do. But we're going to have this like this. So it's going to be almost as if the forge can come over here. And we'll, of course, dig this here. And then we're going to have some water right here. So, do we have more bricks? We'll only have one little bit of water. So, the idea is that you would melt whatever you needed to melt in your forge. And then... Do we have any more chests? Uh-oh. I think we ran out of stone. Speaking of forges, uh-oh. I guess we are. Okay. Well, there we go. Now my question is, and this is a legit question, it's not like a practical question, is how in real life when they stick like iron into a forge, how do they separate out the iron? My guess is that the rock and the iron will separate from each other. That would be my guess. And so when you put the iron into here, it would, you'd have it come out, drain out, and then you would put it in the water. Oops, that's not where we want it to go. We want the water to be right here. Water reservoir. My guess is that once it reached the water, that would of course cool it off, and then you'd be able to separate the iron from the rock. Maybe the rock sinks while the iron stays at the top, or maybe you just pull the block out and separate it from there, kind of smash it or something. I don't know how that works. So there we go. So the lava will reach over to here, and then it's all good from there. So that leads to the question of, should we have a roof over this building, and how else should this whole thing work? Now, in theory, these guys would still be in the Bronze Age, so iron hasn't been invented. But I don't know if forges existed prior to the Bronze Age. It's another question. But maybe they throw in their stuff. The iron comes here. Then they get the iron out, or bronze in this case. They pull it out, and then they can then sort of work. Okay. So now we need to figure out a way for them to hammer out the metal, because if they're still gonna have to heat it up. That big forge part is just to be able to separate the metal from the rock, right? So they need another part right here, maybe, that's actually dealing with the forge. So, do I have any netherrack over here? I want something that kind of glows like an ember glow. Maybe we'll just have a furnace sitting right there so that they could stick there. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do for now. Until we get a little better items and they get a little better at forging. You know, they could use the eternal flame, i.e. the netherrack, to heat up their metal. Let's go ahead and place down these blocks. So we'll have a double furnace right here. So they'll stick the sword in the top and have it be burning at the bottom. And then they'll pull it out, smack it, put it in the water if they need to, and put it back if they need that as well. So that's right here. This is the forge. Again, it's not supposed to be a rooftop thing, at least not right now. Later on, we'll get there. But right now, I just want this to be 100% functionary, because this is a sacred building. Later on, we'll get a rooftop on it. We'll do all sorts of things, but as long as the lava has a roof over it, that's the important part. So, I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys don't think I'm being lazy or anything like that, because I'm not. I'm trying to make things a little more archaic when we're building this stuff. The cultured place, that's where it's supposed to be pretty and fancy. This is supposed to be archaic. It's supposed to be like, we do this and that's it. So we're gonna have to get some iron for these guys as well. We're gonna have to like get some swords lined up. I want to build an armory for them so that they can create what they need to create and do what they need to do. I know we're draining the very thing that we said they're concerned about, but you know, maybe they feel they have control over things now because they have a god, gods to protect them. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode, you guys. In the next episode, I would like to work on some walls for this place. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Some walls to get us through. It's going to require a lot of cobblestone, and I want to show you guys, at least in creative, my ideas, because it's not going to be built in a day. But my ideas for a design surrounding this. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy mining and crafting.